Listen, the
Oh,
punishment.
you know what? We got Max Holloway calling in right now. Don't
Okay,
worry.
allegedly. I never believe you
Allegedly.
when you say that. I don't know if you're telling the truth or not.
Here we go.
Hello, Max. How are you, buddy?
Good, boss. How you guys doing?
Very good. Thank you for calling in. Fighting you the main event this Saturday in Detroit. Being from Hawaii, could they have picked a worse location for you to go in December?
Yeah, man. It's I'm over here doing interviews in the damn AC inside the hotel, and I'm freezing to it. So I'm like, everybody's like, "What? This is good weather. This is perfect weather." I'm like, guys, I'm a Hawaiian. You know, it doesn't go underneath 70 degrees. And when it's in 70 degrees, I use a long sleeve. So please cut me some slack.
When you're walking around the house, what do you like to keep your house at?
Oh, like right now, I'm like in the hotel room. We got my temperature set to 76. You know?
Oh man!
Oh my God!
Oh, dude, if I ever had to like stay at your house, not that I ever would. I'm not inviting myself, but
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, dude, can I open a window? I would melt. I'd be like a melting man.
76. One ball is stuck to each leg. If I have my house is at 76 degrees.
You know, I run hot.
You know, but look, Hawaii is what. But you're probably an open window guy. You probably don't even like any kind of so you just like open the windows to let a nice breeze come through.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I gotta leave actually at home when it's super hot. I turn on the AC here and there, but then I just get it cool and I turn it off. But yeah, you know, leaving the doors, nothing beats the fresh air. And
you're fighting obviously against Jose again. This Saturday, last fight was a win. It was a third round TKO. Now, when he was announced, you tweeted a picture of him and wrote, "It is what it is." Was this frustration, disappointment, or just acceptance and kind of like a Hawaiian calm thing? Because Hawaiian people are known as very, very even-keeled folks. What did you mean by it?
I meant exactly what I said, man. It is what it is. You know, everybody kept telling me, call out this guy, do that guy. Why are you taking this fight? It was like, you know, when my manager called me and told me that Frankie was out, I told him, call me back when you got a contract. I don't want to hear names. I don't want to do this. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm a fighter. I want to fight. And, he was the next guy up. You know,
sure.
At the end of the day, I got a cupcake guy with me. You know, a guy comes on all my trips with me. He buys us cupcakes all the time, and I look forward to him. You know, I look forward to those cupcakes. It's like cupcakes, guys. You know, I want the new flavor. Of course, I want the new flavor, the one I haven't tried. But if the old flavors, the ones I like, everyone is good. So I'll still eat it. So you know, I'm here. I'm still fighting Detroit. I owe the city of Detroit, my family, my friends, my fans, even the haters. You know. They deserve to fight, and too much cards been falling through lately, and I just wanted to fight, man.
All right, we got a great headline. Max Holloway calls Jose Aldo a cupcake. That's the headline. Refers to him as a cupcake. Look, man, I mean, it is a good matchup. Obviously, the first fight was really good. Jose said he had a leg injury. Because I watched that fight, I'm like, why is he not throwing enough kicks? And you really could not prepare for two more different fighters than Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar. I mean, and Edgar comes at you a lot differently than Jose does. And Frankie to me is just such a dangerous fighter. So is Aldo for different reasons. But now, assuming he has rehabbed, how are you preparing differently for him than you were for Edgar?
This is what greats do. This is what greatest of all times do. You know, I've been telling everybody in between these fights, I went to two Pedro Sauer seminars, and I would always talk about his old stories of how when, you know, they was coming in, they first came to America, and how people would just show up to their garage or whatever and fight them, or they'd show up to gyms and they would fight. You know, you cannot have these times where you claim to be the best fighter in the world, and then you're like, but wait, give me 8 weeks, give me 6 weeks, let me get ready for you. No, the best fighter, if you believe you're the best fighter in the world, you get ready for everything. So that was my mindset, that was my attitude. You know, if it's him, it's him. You know, we're gonna figure out a way. I figured out a way 11 times. 18 times. I got 18 wins. You know, I'm gonna figure out a way to get 19.
Now let me ask you, Matt, two questions. Was he the first? I know you said you didn't want to hear anything until there was a contract. Were other names bounced around? Because there were some people that thought, well, why not Cub Swanson or Ricardo Lamas? Because you had just fought Jose, even though he is the number one contender. Were other names bounced around?
Yeah, all those names bounced around. Like I said, Cub was in the running. I heard Ricardo. I heard Cub's opponent that he was fighting. I heard a couple 55 names popped up. So it was just it was a bunch of things that I really didn't want to worry about. Because
Sure.
at the end of the day, UFC is going to choose who they want to choose me to fight, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to prove I'm the best.
Now, do you think with Aldo saying that he had that injury to his leg? I mean, listen, we all know people fight banged up. That was a great fight.
Yep.
Now, do you think that made much of a difference? I mean, you were in there with him. Or you're thinking, all right, man, he's got to tell himself something to try to make himself mentally straight for this rematch.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's at right now with his peace of mind. His interviews and everything. Even this fight, it's unlike him if you think of it. When the hell does he ever take a short notice fight? When does he and does all these things and saying injuries and blah blah blah? There's a lot of things that don't add up with this fight. It's a quick turnaround for him, and he usually fights like once a year. So it's pretty weird. There's a lot of question marks going into it, but if it keeps the guy going, if it's going to make him show up December 2nd, then I'm all for it. If he believes in a fight, I want the best Aldo. I want the best Jose Aldo. After this one, I don't want there to be any excuse. I want him to be 200%, come with his game plan, and let's get it done.
Yeah, man. I think not one of the reasons, but a big part of him never making excuses is because the guy's never lost, really. I mean, you are fighting a legend. I mean, Conor had that one fight with him that people remember because it was so hyped up and the way it went down with the whole 13-second thing. But besides that, it's not like that guy had to, deal with that before. So it's very interesting. He's in a spot in his career that he's never been in before because he's always been such a dominant champion, And to go through the fight, Max, that he went through with you, where, he was in the fight and, he was in there in the beginning, but then what happened to him where, I mean, that is enough to give, a lesser fighter, I mean, not that he doesn't get nightmares, but that would give somebody nightmares. I mean, it wasn't like, all right, man, well, Max, he can't say to himself, well, Max, he just caught me. He just got that one punch. I mean, you were on him, and that was because he's so tough. That was a bad beating. Yeah. So I'm wondering how his head is. What could he say? All right, if they're going through that with somebody, what's giving him this confidence to get back in there and feel he's going to take that title back?
Yeah, I'm wondering it too. And I look forward to it this Saturday. I can't wait. I'm excited. This, like you said, this guy's a legend. He's one of the best. People are asking me, oh, what happened to this and that and blah, blah, saying scenarios. I'm like, look, guys, he defended a bunch of times. His legacy is cemented. And to cement my legacy, I got to add him and I got to add a bunch more, to be the greatest in this weight division. It's crazy. There's a lot of history on the line, and I can't wait to prove it. I can't wait to. I already knew, my team knew, I know I'm the best in the world. It's time to show the world now.
Max, one reason, Matt saying what's giving him the confidence, if he was being truthful about the leg and not making an excuse, and it does seem like he was because he just wasn't throwing kicks. And I couldn't think of any logical reason for that watching it. Maybe he's got his leg and he's like, okay, now I have, 40% more of my weapons that I just didn't have. It doesn't have to be a boxing match against you. It might be that. And, you also mentioned a good point about this guy doesn't normally take short notice fights. To me, who was it that got hurt when Conor, he could have fought Conor in a rematch and he didn't take it.
It was RDA.
It was, that's right,
Yes,
Rafael dos Anjos. So when he didn't take that fight and he knows he'll never get that chance again, I think that's one of those things where you let the boat pass you and you will always regret it because he did not take that opportunity that could have given him the belt again or a second loss. So now, you're giving him another shot at the belt. This is the second time that the champion who beat him had an injury or something take a person out of the fight, and this time he answered the call. He did not against Conor. So if you're wondering why he's taking... I'm babbling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I hear you. So we see what happens. Like I said, we see what happens. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out Saturday. We find out where his head is and how he feels on Saturday. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie, I wanted to see Frankie get this shot just because I like Frankie so much. But hopefully his injury is not too bad. Do you know what the injury is specifically?
I don't. I heard something wrong with his face, and something bad that might have surgery or something. So I don't know, man. I hope nothing but a speedy recovery for that guy. I was looking forward to that fight. Like I said, it's just like cupcakes. I was looking forward to a new flavor, but luckily, I don't know, man. It just sucks. That guy got hurt. He's a legend. There was a lot of history on that line. We had a lot of history with Hawaiian fighters and stuff. So it was a great fight. But I look forward to the future. First things first. I got Aldo on my plate. We got to take care of business, and we can start thinking about down later.
Yeah, and then see maybe the winner of Aldo Holloway fights Frankie if he's well enough to do. What do you think? One of my favorite fights, the whole card is really good, Max. The whole main event card, it's a tremendous card. Ngannou Overeem, we had Overeem on earlier in the week, and I'm really, really looking forward to that fight. What do you think of that matchup? Even though, of course, it has nothing to do with what you're doing because you guys are 600 pounds apart. What do you what do you think of that matchup?
I think that matchup is great, man. I was kind of excited when they announced it down for the fight. It's a big matchup. Overeem is Overeem, and Francisco is he's coming up. They got a lot of hype behind the guy. So I think this is we're gonna find out. We'll find out what the hype is about, and who doesn't like two heavyweights, they're athletic heavyweights too, going in there. Everybody wants to see knockouts and finishes. So I think that fight is definitely going to end up in a finish.
Well, it's funny, like a guy like me who can't fight for shit, the idea of a guy who punches really hard scares me. But you guys are used to that. So, like we point out that Overeem has fought guys that hit hard before. So when you as who you are, you're fighting a guy and his main weapon is that he punches really hard. You're not uncomfortable with a guy who punches really hard.
No, not at all. I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to get. It's like you guys. I'm not going to get into a podcast and thinking I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to get into football and think so I'm not going to get hit. Or I think I'm not going to get into swimming. And not going to touch the water. So
absolutely more examples.
Things, what's going on. Yeah, I'm not gonna decide to be a bird and not fly,
Yes. I like it, Max. We are definitely
Max.
There's 20 fucking examples.
He
right
basically,
there. I love it.
You're saying that you know what you're in for.
Yes.
When you,
he's a samurai, man. I like it. I like that you were gonna sign the con. You already had your contract signed. You didn't even care who they put in front of you. And there's a lot of guys that are prima